Don't you just love September? NRL Finals time. Weekend 1 and already 3 matches decided.
And in goes Dylan Farrell. Oh. Here they go, they're going in to score. So Ryan scores. And he's right through. And now it's gone to Tamalolo. Can you believe that? There's a big hit.
3 very different games of football.
Go!
Now, just this to go, the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs up against the Newcastle Knights. Morris, Inu, Josh Reynolds, Ennis, Graham, Cassiano, Barber and T-Rex. Up against Boyd, McManus, Urate, Mullen, Vidaris, Big Willie Mason and the Bruce brothers, Scott and Smith. Sounds like a pistol. Desi Hasler up against Wayne Bennett. For one, it's happy days. For the other, 2013 oblivion. Welcome to sudden death finals football. The Dogs and the Knights, right here on the home of the best. Nine's wide world of sports.
3 games already this weekend to underline how NRL finals football is a very different proposition to the competition rounds. A whole new world. And today we're back at Sydney's ANZ Stadium to bring you the knockout match between the Bulldogs and the Knights live. Hello to you. Of course, the winner graduates to play the Storm at Melbourne's Amy Park next Saturday night. The loser goes home with nothing but bad memories and sore heads. Your final thoughts on today's game and a tip?
I found this the hardest one to select. I really don't know who's going to win this today. I can make a case for both sides. I think Newcastle have got the better strike out wide. They have got experienced forwards. I worry a little bit about the lack of Cade Snowden up front and the size. The Bulldogs, my only argument there is they're playing at home, and that could be the difference in the game. But I really don't know who's going to win it. I'm just excited to watch it.
Which way do you see, Darren?
I'm going to go with the Bulldogs. I think they've got their best forward pack out there, and they'll get away to a good start, and away they go.
Joey, should I ask?
I'm going for the Knights. I think they're in great form and a lot of strike out wide. Jared Mullen's in great form.
And Sterlo, what about you? Which way do you see it?
Well, Cameron, I'm wavering, but I'm going to go with Joey. I think the Knights are in a little bit better form. They've got 6 players who've won grand finals, albeit at 5 different clubs. And their coach, I think, is as happy with them as he's ever been since taking over the reins. That's good enough for me.
All right, thank you very much, Peter Sterling. We're just about ready for kickoff. After the break, Ray Hadley and the run-ons for this elimination final. The Bulldogs of War and the Knights, right here on the home of Rugby League 9's Wide World of Sports.
And good afternoon. As we bring down the curtain on the first weekend of finals, we've had 3 incredible games. Refereeing controversies. I'd venture to say that 4-0 victory by the Roosters confirmed you don't need to see 50 points to see great rugby league. This afternoon it's 6v7 and the loser bows out. A big contingent of Novocastrians have made their way down, but as you would imagine, being the home ground for Canterbury, the Bulldogs fans are there in significant numbers. There's Jared Mullen about to lead his team out. Danny Medeiros in centre shot spoke glowingly about in that Peter Sterling interview with the coach Wayne Bennett, as you would expect. A little bit of cloud cover, but no sign of rain. A brilliantly fine afternoon. Looking Uarte. Out they come, the Newcastle Knights. Big Willie taking it all in. He's been here before. They love their rugby league, the Novocastrians. All the little players that entertained us between the earlier matches, the 2 Holden Cup games, welcoming their heroes onto the field. And as you heard earlier, Newcastle come out 1 through 17, no changes. Here come the Dogs. Crescendo builds as Michael Ennis makes his way out. Josh Morris and Sam Perrott behind him. There's Ben Barber into the starting lineup. You heard Peter Sterling talk to the coach about the reason for that. Needed a pipe opener off the bench last week. And here, Peter, to start the game today.
And in jersey 23, and I'm told that's because of the size of the jersey. The Bulldogs don't have a jersey 18. That's been given to a club member. And all the other jerseys are too big because they've had so many forwards on their interchange. So it's not a Michael Jordan show of support. It's a small one.
It's an economy of scale.
Good start. Touch it.
And I suspect there are some nervous referees and video referees in light of events over the course of the weekend as well.
Step away, guys! Make your way, guys, not early.
And we are underway for the second of the elimination semi-finals. As the ball goes deep to Robertson, he finds a willing workhorse on his outside in David Faralonga, who's brought down in the first tackle of the match. Sudden death. Here's Elimination into the defence. Eastwood, who's come into the side in number 20 there. And so's Pritchard in 24 over the top. Ennis was under them. Bobby Rocco, the second rower, takes it up. Winner James McManus. He got rattled up there, very gingerly.
He's still very dazed, James McManus, as he makes his way back out on the flank. Michael Ennis coming over the top. With Newcastle now on the last tackle, go to Jared Mullen.
Now, Laffey's lined up here at right centre, I've just noticed. Chris Anu out.
Wait, they're not all behind. In the middle, in the middle.
Have a look at this. Bang. Ooh. They could have had a look at that. Ennis lazily over the top. Anyway, from the restart, Pritchard on a rampage. 9 short of halfway. That's Eastwood over the halfway line, you can see, as the two front rowers, Faralonga, Mason, make the tackle. James Graham, first touch. Tolman is with the right. Graham got up, rattled as well.
Yeah, Jeremy Smith didn't miss James Graham, who's a bit shaky on his feet. Hodkinson kicks high. Uada underneath it. That's a confidence builder for him.
And he's immediately attended to by the centre wearing number 1, Josh Morris, who's at left centre. That'll be Gagai, I'd say, coming from the other side. And this time it's his centre partner from this side of the field, Leilua. He plays it. Roberts went to action half. Rocco again. We've been going for about 2¼ minutes and no mistakes so far. Roberts. Mullen back into the fence. Flick pass back to Roberts. Mason. Good tackle. I think it's Jackson. Yes, it is. Just inside the 40, but it's targeted Barber off the left boot of Mullen. And Barber with a touch is brought down just outside the 30. Holden Cup today, by the way. Both went to Golden Point. Both to Golden Point. Tigers, West Tigers over the Broncos 26-22. And then the Bulldogs against the minor premiers, beating the Raiders Golden Point for a field goal 27-26. Pritchard with the ball for Canterbury now. Base got over the top of him. Aidan Tolman had Graham on his outside. That's the 35th tackle. We hope. Kick from outside the 30. Oh, beautifully taken by McManus after that early hit. Then he got up and went again. And penalised him for a high tackle.
Hey, contact in the head.
And he's touched the ball twice and been hit high.
He did really well. He didn't jump. He didn't have to. Took it securely. But there was plenty of Bulldogs chasers here willing to take a piece of him. Bang over the top. Another one, Reynolds over the top, and a little bit clumsy.
Yeah, I've got no problem with that from Sam Perrott. I think it just came off the shoulder. I really like the start, the Bulldogs. Really concentrating their big men down the middle there. They've combined a little bit with their backs, but really laying a nice foundation, and now physical in defence with Newcastle on their own 10-metre line.
Rocco and Jackson, two of the young lions from either side in the second row. Willie to them now, and there are three players, Eastwood, Graham and Tolman, putting him down. Longo, Eastwood again with Ennis. Solid stuff from Canterbury. Badiris, Smith, he's got them going backwards, he's over halfway. Tolman and Graham got to him. Badiris, Mullen left foot now. Barber's got to cover a lot of territory. This is a magnificent kick. It'll pull up just inside the touch and goal line. He's going to be cornered there. Goal line dropout. Beautiful kick, Jared Mullen. Beautiful kick.
And he very wisely here, Benny Barber, took a step out of the in goal. Look how many Newcastle jerseys are coming down to get a piece of him. By the time he picks this up, he will look up, and there is a wall of them there, and he goes, you know what, I think I'll go this way. Have a look at them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all ready.
Stay behind.
Come here, baby. And he steps out and says, no, I'll get away from that.
Hodkinson towards touch. McManus will take it. He'll find Willie if he wants him, but he's going to take them on. Put down on the tackle now. Almost 5.5 gone. No score. Badiris inside ball. Willie Mason. The two front rowers. Tolman, Graham there again. Invariably. Badiris dummies. Comes to the right. Faralongo taken in the tackle. Plays it quickly. Badiris. Mullen. The ball on the outside, Boyd. Then back away to Gaugai. He's held on the tackle 2 or 3 metres out. Morris is there. So too's Hodkinson. Uarte at acting half. Mullen, Smith. Farlongo run around Smith. Palms goes and put down on the tackle. Jackson got him. Badiris same way. Roberts, dummies. Darry's brought out wide. It's come back to... He kicks inside McManus. It's into the feet, I think, of the 5'8", and it's picked up in turn by Sam Perrott, who comes away.
There's going to be no advantage. It's a knock-on on the last tackle. Go, Ash. There, 10 by 10.
So he's ruled a knock-on by Newcastle last tackle, so they bring it back to the 10 Canterbury, but they look dangerous there.
Yeah, but I think they'd like that last play again. I think they'd opt to kick. Those McManus throwing the cut-out pass, didn't have a lot of room to work in, and that's why when he kicked it was straight into Canterbury defence. Mullen's already got away of beauty, and that's how a kicker can determine his team's fortunes.
So now outside the 20, Graham would play, but that's Pritchard. It was almost a Cumberland throw there and a penalty for playing at the ball from James Smith. Shades of Ray Price, the way he speared him over the top of his body. And they find touch through the right boot of Hodkinson now.
We're back in 2 weeks out of the game, Frank Pritchard. Takes it forward now, a really good charge. Greg Eastwood has been longer, 4 weeks on the sideline.
Ennis, Tolman, up in the tackle far Longo. And Bo Scott, Eastwood out the back, comes back to the 5'8" centre on the inside, comes back away again to the centre of the quarter Laffey. He got it from Reynolds. He's put down on the tackle now. Ennis. Reynolds again, probing. Good tackle, Darius Boyd. 5 out from the goal line. Faralongo there as well. Now the ball, Tolman. Hodkinson, Dubbies, all Pritchard ran in front of him, but there was no harm done as he's taken in the tackle. Badiris got there quickly. 5th tackle. Out the back it comes again. Reynolds goes to the air. McManus will stand there. He goes high. It's plucked out of the air magnificently by Perrott, who scores. What a try. Like a thief in the night.
And that's a great stare from Sam Perrott. He's not the tallest winger in the competition, but he's one of the more athletic. And as is the case with the kickers, the chasers have the momentum. James McManus is very solid under the high ball. Just gets out jumped here, had a lot of work to do, Sam Perrott. Never took his eyes off the footy. took it out of the hands of James McManus to get the opening points.
And world-class wingers like that man, Sam Perrott, have got it down to a fine art. Contesting the high ball, incredibly well done. To think he was in full flight and plucked it away from McManus.
Well, not many get over the top of James McManus. It's usually he who is leaping above others to secure the ball, but I don't know whether he underestimated Sam Perrott, but Sam Perrott certainly had the momentum, and he's just a professional winger. He knows how to get it done.
Here's Hodkinson, 9 in from touch outside the 20. There's the view. Right boot strikes it, didn't deviate 1 inch. Straight between the uprights at the southern end, and as a result they lead by 6-0. Andrew Johnson's on the touchline.
Yeah, big rap to the Bulldogs 5'8" here, Josh Reynolds. He handled 3 times in that set. His speed and enthusiasm really worried the Knights, and just on that try, Sam Perrott, James McManus, he's been holding that head since the high tackle from Michael Ennis. That might be a reason that Sam Perrott got over the top, and you see him there pushing the temples in. He's still in Disneyland.
Here's the kick-off.
When players are doing that, you suspect they've got a little bit of blurred or double vision, and it's the worst thing. You can't shake it. You keep shaking your head, you bang your head, you rub your head, you rub your eyes, but it doesn't go away.
Here's the ball. Ennis comes back away to Jackson. He's going to flick it out the back to Ennis. Ennis gave it back away to Tolman. Tolman's attacked by Smith and also the second rower, Bo Scott, and put down. Plays it again. Now away to Graham, who's felled in a good tackle underneath. I reckon it'd be Baderis. He's always there. 11 short of halfway. Tolman held up by Falongo. Ennis again. He'll scurry out of the half. Pretty lazy market defence for the Paul pass went behind them. Pritchard missed it. Morris has got to go back for it. Tries to push away, but the defence is good. He's held on the tackle now. 9 short of halfway. They've got to rush back to try and settle things down. It'll come to Reynolds. He's going to run. He got away from Willie. He'll basketball it to Barber from inside the 40. He's going to kick now, and that's a pretty good kick. It's away from Darius Boyd. He rushes back for a 10 out from his own line. So they got out of trouble there, Canterbury, after being in strife. Uarte takes the ball from Darius Boyd, and then he's taken by Ishwood.
Well, there was a half chance there for the Bulldogs when Ennis scurried out of dummy half, but it was his pass that went behind teammates to put his side in all sorts of pressure on tackle 5, and they were lucky to get a kick away at all.
Oh, Scott's lost it. It's gone straight back away to Hodkinson, and then it's been lost behind him by Morris. No advantage. No advantage. It'll be a scrum feed here to Canterbury, a metre inside Newcastle territory.
They're getting a bit scrappy. There's no doubt that his side, Sazza, the Canterbury coach, are on top at the moment, not just on the scoreboard. Bo Scott playing with a torn tendon under his foot. Gets needled up to play. And it's rare to see him make a mistake, but it's a very good hit in low. I think it's Michael Ennis who got the ball with his shoulder, and out it popped.
Anyway, they get the ball back, so no real harm done from that pass to Morris, which went to ground.
Just get your feet down, we don't strike that ball's in.
Well, had the pass been good, Morris might have been off for the prize there. He had a head of steam up.
Trainer again out with James McManus.
Barber turns it back on the inside Eastwood. Those socks down as he invariably plays.
I'll guarantee you McManus has got double vision. You can't shake it. It's the worst feeling. You think one more blink will get it right, but it doesn't. It sticks with you.
Another ball. Graham. Hodkinson. Barber. The ball away to Morris. Good tackle, Gagai. Brought him down inside the 20. 18 out. Mitch Brown. Pritchard. He's there probing. Oh, big tackle. Willie Mason over the top. And Smith was the other defender. Ennis, flat ball. Tolman, out the back it came. Barber. He's got support. He's kicked it back in behind a bit from Ennis. Well, he did very well, but he's probably going to be pushed back into the in-goal area, and is. High fives all round from Canterbury, and good work by James McManus.
Yeah, completely different team to what we saw last week against the Broncos. High energy, very, very physical. Here's McManus earlier in the game. Bang, over the top from Ennis. Got him right on the button. And he hasn't been himself ever since. And even here, you see a little bit of a cringe there as he goes into the contest. And they push him back. He was more happy just to secure the ball. Very tough to be out there, McManus. Blinking, blinking. I just want to see one of everything. That's all I want.
So Jared Mullen to drop out. Canterbury in front 6-0. As we approach the 14th minute. That'll be Reynolds. Tolman winds up, and they're there to meet him. Smith and Farlongo. Ennis quickly, Hodkinson, Pritchard, then the ball back to Barber, probing, nice pass away. Reynolds has gone through, great ball, comes away on the outside of Perrott, got inside them, still going, beat another, and eventually McManus brings him down 6 metres out. The pass had come from Laffey, who goes to acting half. Reynolds, Eastwood with a step, he got past Smith and then fell over. Still 3 out. Third tackle. Hodkinson, Barber out the back, they've got numbers, they go wide. Brown marked up well by Uarte, and a penalty for offside. Played the advantage.
Yeah, they've got the Knights rattled here. The Knights are hanging on for dear life, but the Bulldogs are stretching in to the left, to the right, and overpowering them a little bit in the middle. This was the fear I had for Newcastle today. Probably not a lot of great size up front, and certainly not to rescue them off the bench. And just the sheer size of this Bulldogs pack could wear them down. But Bulldogs have also got to turn this into points.
Tolman, again Smith and Mason combine. Ennis from 9 out. Graham at the defence. Farlongo over the top. Denny Badiris underneath as always. Ennis is there. Slow play the ball. Ball on the outside, Reynolds. Out the back, Laffey stepping, dancing, but eventually put down on the tackle by Leilua. Tyrone Roberts there as well. Perrin acting half. Jackson into the defence. Solid tackle again from Badiris. Mason over the top, Ennis. Graham, Hodkinson, Pritchard. Scott's there again to bring him down with Smith. 5th tackle. Dogs looking for their second. Ennis. They'll switch it back the other way. Comes to Reynolds, kicks over the top again, McManus. Perrott goes high. Perrott knocked it back. It's on the ground and goes touch and goal.
We've got backwards off Bulldogs. We're going to have a dropout.
Yeah, they'll get another result here. They dug very deep in that set of 6 defensively, Newcastle. And the kick was another beauty. And this time, Sam Perrott, he preferred to knock the ball back to a teammate instead of trying to catch it. Again, Josh Reynolds peppering James McManus. He pushed it back into the chest of Joseph Leilua, and that's why we go back under the post for the line dropout.
Enormous pressure here, enormous pressure for Newcastle, and they've conceded the one try as we approach the 17th minute.
Yeah, but there'll be a little bit of pressure on the Bulldogs here to convert this territory into points too. The Knights have got to be thinking, if we can hold them out again, maybe we break their spirit a little bit. So it's an interesting set of 6 this one.
And that's the first tackle as Reynolds took the ball and gave it to Tolman. Ennis, Hodkinson, Graham out wide, taken by the defence of Scott. And Jared Mullen. They go the same way. The ball, Hodkinson, then away to Morris, into the defence and put down just outside the 10-metre mark. The world's biggest acting half is Frank Pritchard. He's there. Picks it up, scoops it away. Back to Graham, first receiver. Again taken by the same 2 defenders.
He's in trouble, Josh Morris. Picked up a leg injury there. He's out of their play at the moment.
Eastwood stands in the tackle, unloads. Kicked in behind them again. Reynolds going back for it, McManus, and he shadows it dead. It'll be a goal line dropout.
Well, he fell really awkwardly here, Josh Morrison, and I don't think he's that good at all. He's trying to walk this off. Maybe it was just a twist or a cork, but yeah, he just maybe hyperextended a little bit there. Knees bumped.
And this is a real battle of wills now, as we see the injury again to Josh Morris, who's made his way back, taking plenty of time here. Newcastle, they're under all sorts of pressure. The Dogs very deep.
It's not a great kick. It's headed towards touch. They'll cut it off through Jackson. He'll come up with the ball at the 30, so not the sort of field position you'd normally want from the goal line drop. It normally sails over the halfway. Ennis, Tolman.
Just getting a little bit flat at times, Canterbury, when they've got the football.
Houston's on Peter. The ball comes away. Graham at the back. Hodkinson out wide to Morris with that crook ankle. Steps inside them and taken in the tackle. 10 metres out from the goal line. Barber went to acting half. Pritchard, Eastwood. Solid defence by Newcastle. Ennis again. Reynolds with the turner back on the inside, takes them on, chased by Willie Mason, got the ball back away, Jackson with it. Solid defence again by Rocco and Smith. It's the 5th, Ennis. Away it comes. Hodkinson kicks. Uate's been, he goes high. So does Brown. He flicks it around the corner. He comes back away and Newcastle in possession. There's your answer. They weather the storm.
And if they go on to win this game, coach and players can look like back on that little 7 or 8 minute period there where they weathered everything the Bulldogs could throw at them.
So Houston on the field now. Chris Houston brings the ball up over the 30. We're approaching the halfway mark of the first half. Still 6-0. Cut out pass. Back away Leilua. He's through the centre. They need to put him down and they do. Tolman got to him a metre short of halfway. Big Sam Cassiano's not far away. And nor is Dale Finucane by the look of it. Here's the ball. They're going to try and target the touchline and get a breather here as Roberts puts it into touch. And as a result, the scrum will pack down. You miss none of the action as they return. The scrum packs down. Eastwood's off. So too is James Graham. Finucane and Cassiano's on.
At 5'8", Sam Cassiano there. But we saw a sign of the growing maturity and understanding of Tyrone Robertson kicking for touch there. Didn't need to be told. Knew that the side needed a break. And he gave
forward pass to Jackson.
I got the scrum, Ash. Here you go, mate.
I'd like to see it again, Pete. Your reaction was forward, mine was forward, and the referees most importantly called it forward, but Jackson would have been well downfield. Here it is. Oh yeah, it's forward. Good call by the referees.
Okay, well the talk at the night scrum here has got to be well done, boys. Great little period. Now let's get ourselves a try here. Let's see if we can set up camp down here and not come away until we've got some points. Show a bit of control of our own.
Heads in, Ben.
Give it back to them.
Lock them up, though. Stay there for me, Josh.
Wait.
So Roberts feeds it. Gagai at the defence. Pritchard defending out wide with Hodkinson. So let's see if Newcastle can stride back here. They weather that attacking raid by Canterbury with great defence. That's Houston. Cassiano up slowly. In a penalty, you haven't. Here's the ball, Badouris out the back. Darius Boyd. He takes them on and put down on the tackle just outside the 10. You can see from that wide shot where he is. Comes back to Badouris. Smith at the line. Steps through them, still going. Flicks it back around the corner, Badouris. Then to Roberts. They've got numbers. He can get wide. He can't. He takes the tackle. Leilua was on the outside with McManus. Badouris. Darius Boyd. Mullen. Inside ball, Houston for the line, but taken by Tolman. Fifth tackle, Badouris. Roberts, inside ball, Rocco to Darius Boyd, he gets there, I think. It's a try. They want to have a look. I can't see too much wrong with it.
With a 6 tackle, we have a try. Check for a possible double movement.
No, it's all momentum, this one. It'll be fine. Darius Boyd, he remained cool. He just swiveled the body over as he got close to it and put it down, and it's a nice little play that we see from a number of teams in the competition. The wide balls to the man coming back on the inside after you've stretched the defence, and when you see that in normal speed, you'll see he's got every right to roll that over in the one motion.
Not a problem there at all. And that is a wonderful, wonderful little period there for the Newcastle Knights. Magnificent period of defence. Got it down the other end of the field. And now Darius Boyd, their most lethal attacking weapon, has produced a try.
And it is a green light and a try. 6-4. 6-4 the score. The Dogs have the Knights. After that fifth tackle try by that man Darius Boyd, 11 for the season. The conversion coming from Tyrone Roberts to level up again at 6-all. The study in concentration, the young halfback. Back to the post and then back to the ball. Strikes it and he's missed it. It's gone to the left-hand side of the upright. And Darren Lockyer is with it. Darren, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. The Knights caught the Dogs napping there on fifth and last. The last thing you expect is a back rower to be throwing an inside ball back to your fullback. Darius Boyd played plenty of big games here before. Keeps his composure here, sees the line and reaches out. Great defence at the other end from the Knights. They're back in it.
They did a really good job there, Robbie Rocco, to attract Josh Reynolds. And as Darren points out, a team can really grow on scoring points as a direct result of their defence. And ironically, that's something that I guess forged the Canterbury reputation over so many years of being able to do exactly that.
Here's that man, Rocco, who laid on the try with the inside pass, playing it. Houston set upon by the defence of Finucane. Cassiano over the top with Ennis underneath. Dearest. Smith now, who's been very, very good, particularly in defence back inside his own 20. Jared Mullen. Scott with it. Over the top. And I think that's Tony Williams out there. He's on as well, defending on that left-hand side. Fifth tackle. Jared Mullen with a judicious kick between Perrott and Barber. And Perrott's come up with it and runs at Darius Boyd, who followed it through with Houston.
I think the kick's going to be so important, Ray, in the attacking zone. Both of these teams are susceptible to the grubber or the short kick in behind their wingers. We saw Sam Perrott, the man carrying the football, now racing in their last attack.
Costigan's there as well. Now Hodgkinson throws a dummy. He's got the ball away on the outside of Morris. He's chased by Uarte, so he comes back on the inside and takes the tackle of Smith. Hodgkinson acting hard. Williams. Ennis. Cassiano through the centre. Popped it out the back as he fell. Came back to Ennis. He spins it wide, left right, juggles it. Then comes back on the inside. Leilua's got him and throws him to the ground 15 metres out. Good passage for Canterbury. Perrott. They come back the other way. Hodgkinson. Ennis is there. Tackle. Great tackle, Tyrone Roberts. Didn't see it. There it is. Fifth tackle. Hodgkinson. Come up the side of his boot, it's gone in goal, and it'll be taken on the fullback there by Gagai, who'll race it back to the 20-metre line for the restart and get them napping, and he does. He brings the ball back towards the 30, and they're only just inside, and Cassiano is the first man to make the tackle in concert with Morris on the far side. Uarte, probing. This is good. Two tackles are up towards halfway already, Newcastle, from that quick restart from Gagai. They're on halfway. Neville Costigan was on just a short time ago, and that's him with the football. Houston now, over the 40.
It's actually really good. They're growing in confidence, the Newcastle Knights.
Roberts, Darius Boyd, probing. Laffey was over the top. Ennis was underneath. Leilua at acting half. Tyrone Roberts, Jared Mullen from 29 metres out. High kick. Coming back. Oh, he took it, Uarte. He scores a magnificent try. Brown was looking at him. He said, come here, give it to me. And he scores.
He took it untouched. A great kick from Jared Mullen. And there was only one person who was going to catch that, and that was that man there, Aquila Uarte. An absolute excitement machine. And the kick is judiciously placed there, just in behind defenders who are more intent to stop the players coming through to attack it. They forgot Uarte.
Well, that's one of those rugby league moments when you think, did I just see that? It didn't happen, did it? Mitch Brown standing back, Barber standing back, and this fellow in centre screen, Uarte, had eyes only for the ball.
And there'll be other Canterbury players around that football who are actually trying to shield their catcher, but there was nobody in position to do that.
Here's the kick that converted now. Right boot strikes it, and he's kicked it. So all of a sudden, the Newcastle Knights are in front now by 10 points to 6 over the Bulldogs, and Andrew Johns is downstairs.
Yeah, there he is on screen. Willie Mason got interchanged 5 minutes ago. Walking across the field, walked past the bench for the Bulldogs, carrying a water bottle. Squirted James Graham in the face with it. Willie thought it was funny. James Graham got filthy. So watch when these two get back on the field.
I guess when you're as old as Willie is and done as much as he's done, you're entitled to have a practical joke with a rival, although James obviously doesn't share that sentiment.
He's still filthy, James.
Well, that's typical Willie. It's what Willie does, and has been doing that type of thing for most of his career. Here's Badira celebrating. Newcastle 10, Bulldogs 6.
Willie would do it to you if you're sitting at a bus stop. He doesn't care, Willie.
It's got precious little to do with football. It's a G-up. Smith. Geez, he's been good. On the board of his back. Williams acknowledges he got him into a dangerous position, but let him go. Fifth tackle. Oh, that's a rebound. Let's have a look. They go back. Jared Mullen. 6 to go, he said. It wasn't a rebound. He played at it.
I think it's a falcon. I think it's off the head of Michael Ennis. But by going through the way he did, I think it does constitute being played at.
Leilua plays it. Furious. The ball comes back to Houston. Jackson underneath with Finucane. Roberts. Smith went almost through, but he'll unload. He does. Back to Tyrone Roberts from outside the 30. Goes back the other way. Mullen. Scott. Stutters. Still going. And, gee, that's a good run. 16 metres out, right in front of the post. Oh, penalty. Big Sam Cassiano didn't get off him. Get up, he said.
And this is the tackling technique in the modern game. You watch how Sam Cassiano gets his head right in alongside the head of his opponent. They talk about this, getting your head in there and squeezing your opponent. And Sam Cassiano just overdoes it here. He got right in there. And as typical of the Bennett side, they'll take the 2 points. You watch this, Sam will get his head alongside there and gets right in there and squeezes away. Andrew Johns, did you do the squeeze on your opponents?
No, not on my opponents. A few other people.
What's happening down there, Joey?
I just want to talk about Aquila Uarte. Myself and Brad Fittler went to Fiji last year doing some coaching clinics. And one of the highlights for me was going to this young man's village. Met his family, his mother, and to see where he's come from, humbling beginnings, and where he's at now, to be one of the best wingers in the world, it's a credit to himself. And I think everyone in Fiji will be very proud of this young man, Aquila Uarte.
Well said, Andrew. Here's the kick to come from Tyrone Roberts to give them that converted try margin. He strikes that one and it's gone straight between the uprights at the Northern or Rhodes end, I'm told. They lead by 12-6.
And that is very typical of the Newcastle Knights this year under Wayne Bennett to take the penalty kick at goal. They've actually attempted more penalty goals than any other team in the competition. This afternoon, they're against the side who attempted the least amount. Only 3 times they've kicked for goal.
So Hodkinson kicks off and the ball comes back to Houston, who's held in the tackle just outside the 10. A real arm wrestle here, a converted try the way of the Knights with 8 to go until half-time. Now Hilda will be on because Denny's gone to the bench. They did exactly the same thing last week against Parramatta.
Yeah, he went for 25 minutes last week, Matt Hilda, 55 obviously for Danny Badiris. As Hilda squeaks out of dummy half, you would imagine it would be similar this afternoon.
Menace from acting half tried to struggle through the tackle and almost did. Ennis got him. 5th tackle. Hilda, Mullen, low trajectory one. Mitch Brown picks it up and runs into a pretty heavy tackle from the number 17, Alex McKinnon, who's now on the field. Morris trying to dance away from the defenders from acting half.
Very quiet, the Bulldog supporters here at the moment. And with good reason. They've just gone into a little bit of a flat spot, the Bulldogs.
Here's Jackson, wrestled to the ground by Leilua. Just short of halfway. Going to go blind side. Reynolds dummy, went straight through. He chased from behind. He's almost in the touch, he will be. Well, that's good defence. I think it's Leilua who came across and pushed him into touch.
Very clever his work from dummy half. Look how he uses an opposition player as a bit of a shepherd on one of the markers. He just stands up. You know what's this? He'll get to dummy half. There's a player in the way, so he stands up, hides behind him, pushes him into the opponent, then throws the dummy. Needed to get a pass away now, but they had him covered up, Newcastle. They've scrambled well, the Knights. The Bulldogs have looked likely both left and right, but the Knights are on their game. They're scrambling. They're getting players back there.
Lock them up for me, Ben. Not early, Tony.
I don't know if Perrott and Laffey reacted as quickly as they possibly could have. Sharks and Seagulls, ANZ Stadium next Friday night. You'll see it here, live from 7:30. Dane Gago with the ball from that scrum win by Newcastle, leading by 12-6. Newcastle over the Bulldogs, 6 away from half-time. Uarte stumbles and held. So James Graham, you just saw a shot of him. He's about to come back. refreshed after his break with the help of Willie. It's Houston, Hilda, McKinnon, puts the ears back and goes at the defence. Cassiano's there with Ennis and Tolman. Now, with a quick again from Jared Mullen. Mitch Brown's got it covered. 8 metres out from his own line. There's a great tackle again by Bo Scott. Inside the final 5 of the first half, we're about to go. 12-6 to Newcastle as Barber tries to push away. He has! Tyrone Roberts got him by the jump and said, come back here. He was about to smash into the clear. Cassiano, rattled up by McKinnon, flicked at Barber. Along the ground it went, bounced up nicely. Finucane with it now. He's almost over the top of Scott, but Scott, combining with Houston, brings him down far short of halfway, as you can see in that wide shot. Back we come. Now Hodkinson really caught the high one there, I thought.
He's got him around the collar, apparently, from the referee, and Michael Ennis now dribbles for himself, gets nailed, play on.
He's still down, Ennis, but he won't get a penalty. You saw the referee gesticulating that there was no penalty coming.
Only a short stint for Sam Cassiano. James Graham is out there now and coming up to not tackling the man now. It was taken by Josh Reynolds and Josh Jackson.
Blindside Hilda, McKinnon that is. He's almost through. Plays it quickly. They'll come the same way to Leilua. Leilua puts the ears back. He goes to the 30. He'll struggle and get his hands free to Hilda. He did. Then the ball came back away. Costigan. On the outside it came to Mullen. Via the half-back. Back on the inside to Scott. And he's put down. Well, not quite put down, but at least held in the tackle. Just outside the 20. Tyrone Roberts. At the back, Darius Boyd. Lafayette wrestling with him and accommodating him. Inside the final 4 of the first half. Back the other way they go. There's another left foot kick from Jared Mullen. Out towards Mitch Brown. This time he contests it and takes it beautifully in front of Uarte. A lesson's been learned.
He wasn't going to make the same mistake again. He attacked the football there. I don't know about the Bulldogs just at the moment.
You've got a bit cold on them, haven't you, the last 20?
Yeah, look, Sam Cassiano didn't give them much there. They've gone a little bit sideways again, and the Knights are just growing in confidence. It's going to come down to an individual to try and get them some spark.
This is tough here. Tyrone Roberts has been penalised. He was injured.
He's hurt. He purposely dropped the ball in the play the ball.
I can't control that, Jared. I can't control it. I can't control that.
Just time off. Have you got anything here, Chiz?
Here it is, and you'll see what Jared Mullen's complaining about as skipper. He said, Alex McKinnon, there's a little love tap coming from Reynolds towards Alex. Oh, well, he'll be possibly in a little bit of trouble for that one. That wasn't the original reason for the penalty. It was because of the injury suffered by Tyrone Roberts.
Well, there's no doubt that Reynolds milks this. He sees that Roberts is in the way, so he just, get him out of there. That's a penalty.
So McKinnon escapes. For this time, anyway.
I need a bit of spark here, the Bulldogs.
That's why I put down. Could be unimagined. He took a tap and ran at them. Perrott, he'll bring it inside. And the ball away to Hodkinson. They're looking for runners. Barber. Out wide to Morris. Oh, good tackle, Gagai. He was all over the top of him on halfway. Mitch Brown again. And that's Tolman. Inside the half. From acting half, Ennis. Finucane, he goes up towards the 30. He's filled in that tackle. Hilda was underneath. Mullen over the top, back the other way. Graham, then Reynolds, Barber, skipping, but not through the defence. Well held by Rocco and Tyrone Roberts on the 5th tackle. This has been pretty uninspiring so far. Kicks over the top now, and that'll be taken in the field of play, back into the end goal, so play on. And Darius Boyd does a very good job to stay in the field of play despite the attention of 2 defenders, Jackson and Reynolds. Got 1:50 to go to the break and 12-6 the score to Newcastle. This is starting to develop into a really good game of rugby league for this second 40 minutes. As Leilua goes for a little run from acting half. You just sense that either of the team is capable of a 60 or 70 metre try when running it out from their own red zone. Left foot kick from Mullen from well inside the 40, and Barber's going to attack this football and turn it back to Brown, and Brown from that left wing is at the defence, but Rocco's equal to it.
He only had one thing in mind there, Jared Mullen, and that was to kick the ball as long as he could. They hadn't picked up a lot of metres in that set.
I've got a look at this. Yeah, I've got
Brown here, staying on the ground.
I'll be having a look at it, I heard someone say in the background, Peter,
Let's
from
have a look.
either the video referee's box or the referee's checking the jaw. So there's been some sort of collision. Rocco's the man that tackles him, and all the way with the top Hilda. You'd need the reverse angle to see where the contact was, and this will be it. Bang. It's almost an old-fashioned stiffy.
I couldn't hear you there, Chief.
11 short of halfway, they find touch. That's a colloquial term for a stiff arm tackle, of course.
Of course it is. On report, that I think. Josh Jackson.
Look, I've just been told down the line by the video ref that he should have been placed on report, but the referee didn't hear it, so he will be placed on report. They'll rectify that, so he is on report for that one. It's just the communication was a problem. Here's the ball, Graham out the back, Hodkinson, dummies at the defence, held up. There's 37 seconds to go to half-time. Ennis quickly acting half, back to Graham. Graham flat ball for Nukin threw it away, and it's going to come back to Tyrone Roberts. They butchered an opportunity, Canterbury, in the dying 30 seconds of the first half. Costigan will just belt this up the corridor towards this western touchline to wind that clock down, so they go to the break leading by 6. Again, that's Gagai, I think, who's come across from the right centre position to left centre. It is him, Wayne Gagai. There's the siren, they won't get to play it. So you heard the whistle in the background. This is developing into an absorbing struggle, as I said. Half-time score 12-6. 12-6 it is. Newcastle over Canterbury. Coming up next in Holden half-time, Phil Gould, Darren Lockyer, Andrew Johns, John Cameron Williams to run us through the first half stats. There's the VB hard-earned highlights and the prized analytical tool. 9 Orban, Holden half-time. Coming up next on only 9's Wide World of Sports, and they've just put him on report. We've just heard that from Ashley Klein talking to the player involved and the captain. He has been placed on report after a miscommunication. Back with more shortly. Goes to the air. McManus will stand there. He goes high. It's plucked out of the air. Magnificently by Perrin is scored. Roberts inside ball. Rocco to Darius Boyd. He gets away big. It's a try. It's Jared Mullen coming back. Oh, he took it. He scored the magnificent try.
Welcome to Holden half-time at ANZ Stadium, where it is the Knights 12 leading the Bulldogs 6. And Darren Lockyer, as you go through these, we find that the Bulldogs did more tackling. It seemed like the Knights were going to have to defend their line forever at one stage.
I was surprised at that stat too. Everything else is pretty even. The completion rate's been great by the Knights. They've only made one error. Penalties 4-2 favour the Bulldogs, but yeah, like the scoreline, there's not much between them in the stats.
Sam Perrott kicked off our VB hard-earned highlights at half-time with a neatly executed play.
Yeah, Josh Reynolds with a crossfield kick produced the first try in the 9th minute. This came after a period of domination, field position-wise. James McManus, he was still feeling the effects of a hard knock early in the game, and Sam Perrott was able to climb above him and snatch that out of the air. In the 23rd minute, the Knights hit back. Lovely little inside ball there from Robbie Rocco, Darius Boyd. That came after a period of sustained defence. And then in the 27th minute, they backed it up. This kick goes in the air. The Bulldogs players say, yours. Aquila Uwadi says, mine. And over he goes, the flying Fijian.
All right, and that leaves us with a 12-6 scoreline. Andrew, for the 9 more Orbit Vision, thanks to Telstra's NRL Live app, but you've picked out that Sam Perrott try to isolate for us.
Yeah, Gus spoke about James McManus. This would happen a couple of minutes previous. He took the hit up and then Michael Ennis went whack straight across the beak. For the next 5 or 10 minutes, it was seeing stars, and they saw this. Josh Reynolds lands it straight on top of his head here. The great kick here that isolates McManus. You see he goes back there, and it's just a one-on-one. McManus seeing stars, and the next minute he looks up, you see Sam Perrott. Gets in between McManus and BJ Leilua and opens the account. Smart play there by the Bulldogs.
All right, as we look into the Knights room, and Wayne Bennett has taken them into a separate room in the dressing room there, a little bit of extra privacy. What's he saying to them, Gus?
I think he's really happy with them. I think they showed their intent with that period of sustained defence. If you ask me just on what we saw in the first 40 minutes, I can tell you the Newcastle Knights have come here not to lose. They're going to win this. A lot will be determined in the 10 minutes after half-time. And having coached against Wayne Bennett for many, many years, Darren, you'd know better than I, but he seems to put a lot of emphasis in that period after half-time. That first 10 minutes could set up the victory.
Well, he knows it's a danger period, and look, the Bulldogs have thrown more than the Knights in attack, but defensively the Knights, that's why they're in front. You know, they've defended their try line, that 8-minute period that Gus mentioned in the call. If they win the game, they'll look back at that as a period where they won it.
They haven't looked stressed in defence, Newcastle. Well, I know they're throwing a lot at them, the Bulldogs, but they haven't created much overlap. You know, the Bulldogs attack, it's all that, you know, short passing off the forwards out the back to their halves, but I think teams are really reading that now.
Well, that's their big play. They go sideways to the edge. Now, where the Bulldogs were used to be a little bit successful is when they were coming back, they were stringing passes together in the middle of the field and still attacking back at the post. Today, when they're setting up, it's just one-out stuff, and that's allowing Newcastle to regroup. So Newcastle just know, OK, well, here comes a play to the left. All right, well, here they set up again. Here comes a play to the right, and they're just reading them comfortably.
Wayne Bennett often says that he has two speeches, one in each pocket, one for if he's winning and one for if his team is losing at half-time. Andrew, I'll ask you to go against your instincts and help the Bulldogs out here. What can they do to defeat Newcastle from this position?
Yeah, Gus spoke about their attack. They play a very structured style of attack, going sideways to sideways with these short passes and those plays out the back to their half. A few more offloads. I think the offloads from their big men, that brings the likes of Ben Barber into play. Now, the likes of Cassiano, if he's flopping balls out the back to Barber, that'd be so hard to defend against.
Yep, just a little word there with Sam Cassiano. He did seem to have a little note to himself there, Desi Hasler. What do you think of this second half, Darren?
Yeah, look, if the Knights keep defending the way they are, they'll frustrate the Bulldogs. As the game wears on, the Bulldogs will just keep pushing passes. For mine, I think the Bulldogs, they need to, instead of go at the back all the time, hit the guy in the lead, the big guy up the front, hit them and just start to penetrate down the middle.
Season about to finish for one of these teams. Will it be the Bulldogs or will it be the Knights? A huge second half coming up here on the Wide World of Sports.
And welcome back for this second 40 minutes, absorbing rugby league in front of us with the Knights in front of the Dogs. 12-6, 12-6, and nothing between these two sides. They've met on 39 occasions. They've won 19 times each and drawn once. And our statistician, David Middleton, was telling me that they've scored within 1 point of each other through the regular season, 528 to 529 or something like that.
We just saw the injured Kurt Gidley urging his teammates on to extend their season longer than the next 40 minutes. That's barring Golden Point, of course. Both Paul Harrigan and CEO Matt Gidley in there as well. They know what these players are going through.
And the winner of this game plays Melbourne at Amy Park next Saturday night. The loser, unfortunately for them, bows out. There's the coach in the background. And the chief next to him, looking as fit as a Mallee bull, Paul Harrigan, lovely man that he is. And just whispering words of encouragement as the coach walks out among the players, and quick word to Darius Boyd as he heads right towards the coach's box.
Enormous expectation, obviously, when Wayne Bennett took over up in Newcastle. Failed to make the finals last year. As he pointed out, it was going to take a while, and I mentioned earlier, he's happy now with the team as he has been. The last half of the season has been very, very good. Much more consistent in all areas. As last year's grand finalists make their way back out.
I'll go to the southern end. I know a lot of country rugby league across the east coast of Australia being played this weekend. I had a phone call through the week to say Yagara and Cargo were playing in the grand final of what's known as the Woodbridge Cup. And Michael Cronin, a former teammate of Peters, the coach of Gerringong in Group 7, has advanced to yet another grand final with a victory 42-22 this afternoon over Jamboree. And they'll meet the Warilla Gorillas in Nowra next week in the Group 7 grand final. Good luck to all those participating in Bush Rugby League over the course of the next 2 weeks.
Stay behind, guys! Make your way, guys.
We've said it a lot this weekend already, but the next try is so important.
So the ball is kicked off by Tyrone Roberts, and Barber takes it. Gives it straight back away to Tolman, who brings it back towards the 20. The defence converges. Houston's there. Costigan's head I can see, and Rocco the third. It's Jackson. Solid defence again. McKinnon was there. To Lucan. Oh, that looks like a strip to me.
Try to pass the ball. Play the ball there, tackle 3.
Here.
Hey, you're trying to pass the ball, play the ball there, tackle 3.
He called held. He called held.
Oh, they've got away with this because he called held.
Tackle 3, tried to pass it.
They were going to say...
Lock up, Matt.
They were going to say scrum Newcastle, then someone overruled someone. I thought it was a strip. Midway between the 20 and halfway, as you can see. With tackle kick now. Hodkinson. Iwade thought about taking the full, trapped it with his shins, picked it up and comes back. On the outside of Morris, and then sees the touchline beckoning and slides into the tackle. And he's going to penalise him. I think I heard him say 5 times James, James, James.
Yes, mate.
On that first set of 6, you've got 3 blokes standing inside you every play, not one call. First our set, you're on our back again.
I called him off, mate.
That's the badge, Gavin Badger. I called him off, mate. Well, there could be no mistake, you could hear it in the background. James, 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 James. And James made the tackle. McKinnon with it after they found touch towards the 30. And Morris is there to tackle him with Hodkinson. Hilda still at acting hard. Costigan. So Lucan there. No milking of it. Tyrone Roberts. Inside ball, McKinnon. Up in the tackle by Tolman. He almost reached out and scored, the big fella. Hilda's at acting half for Newcastle now, close to the line. They come to the right-hand side. Hilda tries to bounce away from the defence of Jackson, but can't.
Wait there, wait.
They'll go the other way. Mullen, Tyrone Roberts shows it inside, dummied, went the outside. A show and go. It's Jackson over there, so it was Finucane back this side. 5th tackle. Mullen left foot kick to the air for Uwate and Brown. He palmed it back on the inside. They're still playing there, and now the tackle affected. He'll try and get it out the back. He does. Gagai's there. He'll throw it out the back. Picked up now by the Newcastle side. Intercepted. Off the line they go, and he streaks away. It's Reynolds in a foot race. Darius Boyd from behind. Here they come. The cavalry arrive in time. Great tackle, Tyrone Roberts. He'll play it 12 metres out. Goes back the other way. That'll be a penalty if they don't score. Dummied by Ennis. He says play on. No, they'll give the penalty because of what happened previously.
He's got to go.
Is he saying 10? He's in the bend for 10, I think.
Yeah, Chris Houston.
Chris Houston.
He still hasn't realised. Professional foul.
Well, he'd be exhausted from getting back there.
When you run through here, mate, you knocked him over.
He's in the bin for 10, we know that.
Come off, Badge.
I thought they'd play an advantage and give a penalty. I didn't know it'd be the bin.
We saw an intercept taken yesterday. North Queensland Cowboys, young winger Alugia. Running the distance, and Josh Reynolds, he was rounded up in a great tackle by Tyrone Roberts. And that was just the effort from the Newcastle side to keep it alive on the last tackle. Bet you they wish they'd have handed it over instead.
Here they go, take the tap very quickly. Canterbury trying to surge back into it, down by 6. 2 metres out, they'll play the ball back. Ennis playing against 12 men for 10 minutes. Then the ball away on the outside, almost through. Jackson, a metre short of the goal line, took it from Reynolds. Barber to acting half. Back to Graham. Graham puts the ears back. The defence is there, Hilda. Can they withstand the pressure with only 12 men? Newcastle. Ennis again. Tolman. Hodgkinson. Barber. Probing. The ball comes back to Morris. He must score. Is he there? No. Somehow they get to him again. Bo Scott this time.
Barber's hurt.
He's in back play, Peter. The ball comes back away to Williams. Well, I don't know what he was doing, but he stood there, took the tackle. Ennis, Hodgkinson, kicks over the top, might be too deep. They leap high. Yes, it is. It's taken in goal, and they'll rush back to the 20-metre line, but Barber's in stride.
He's in all sorts. Ben Barber in agony.
No! Joey! No! Walk away!
There's a brouhaha, a fracas, a contre-top happening on the 20, and Peter, this young fella Barber's in absolute agony with his ankle.
Yeah, and has been since he first went down. Hard to work out exactly what the problem is. It's obviously a leg injury, but he's up on his knees now.
Well, that ankle's been troubling him all year. We showed before the game the number of times he's been down in this similar pose. It's either shocked him and he's worried about it, or he feels as though now he can walk it off. Now, he did this against Parramatta earlier in the year. Gets caught up underneath. This happens to him a lot. The ankle underneath, the foot underneath Mullen. He's tried to walk it off. Now he's gone back down again in back play here. And he and the trainer can't work it out. Now the trainer signals for a stretcher. So it looks as though Ben Barber is not long for this game. They're calling for the doctor. What a crazy period since half-time. An intercept, a sin bin. Morris looks certain to score. The Knights hold on again. Barber down injured. Out comes the golf cut. And it looks as though he's gone for the day.
So there's Ben Barber limping to the Medicab and being assisted at the northern end of the ground. The crowd, by the way, has just been posted, 23,086 at ANZ.
Newcastle restart from the 20 with Ben Barber leaving. Obviously, Josh Morris goes back into the fullback position with a very versatile Dean Hallertau. He's put out there by Des Hasser. Dane Gagai trying to find metres out of dummy half, gets a few.
I'm still trying to figure out how Josh Morris didn't score over on this western side prior to that pass.
Bo Scott did a phenomenal job to save the day. He's been enormous this afternoon, Bo Scott.
They play at Hilda, still at acting half, no Badiris yet. So I repeat, Newcastle are down to 12 men. Houston's in the bin, and there's a penalty, and that's what they need, Newcastle, and it's Aidan Tolman being spoken to.
Now, Gus, with a man in the bin, as we see the man I'm talking about, Chris Houston, do you contemplate 2 points here to put Aidan in front?
Absolutely.
He's not allowed to. We've ruled on that, okay, but I don't appreciate
Absolutely, you
the
get
way
8 points in front.
Okay, the decision's made, Michael. Just wait a second.
You get 8 points in front, and I wouldn't mind if the kicker got fined for taking more than the allowable time. I'll pay the fine.
He's coming again, Ash.
So they'll have a little bit of a meeting here. And
No. Sooks and carries on. Michael, not at all. I've made the decision.
Michael Ennis is still campaigning away.
Accused someone of being a sook and carrying on there.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure who's the sook and who's carrying on.
I think it was the man that couldn't get up to play the ball with James Graham crowding him.
Well, there's Ben Barber, the sorry sight of Ben Barber, and you would imagine that maybe, even if the Bulldogs progress, that may be his last game for the season and for the club.
So the kick at goal comes from Tyrone Roberts. It's directly in front and exactly 30 metres out.
And it's perfect for Newcastle. This is winding the clock down whilst they're one man short. To score any points when you're one man short is a huge bonus. This certainly helps their cause.
Possibly leading by 8 with 12 men, but most importantly, a couple of minutes ticking down of his 10 in the bin. There's a shot from behind the post. Moves into it, heads towards the uprights, and it's between them. As a result, they lead by 14 points to 6. The Knights over the Bulldogs, but there's still 33 to go.
Yeah, and their man is still in the bin, so when they catch this kick-off reception, they've got to make sure the next time the Bulldogs touch it is way back down the other end of the field. And some frustration starting to build with the home side. It's just not going right for them at the moment.
Well, after the intercept, you'd want to back a team to score a try in those circumstances, particularly on the back of a penalty and a bloke in the bin for 10.
Well, the Knights, as I said during the half-time break, they're not here to lose today. Their defence has been nothing short of outstanding. The only try they conceded was a cross-field bomb.
Back it comes, McManus. Andrew Johnson's got more news for us on the injury update, Andrew.
Yeah, Ben Barber said to the trainer he thought he heard a crack, so I'm pretty sure he's off for x-rays now. He won't be back for any part of the game.
And the season, no doubt, for Kinnan if they do advance, as Phil said. Thanks, Andrew. Metre short of halfway, as you can see, that's a halfway line that he almost plays it on McKinnon. Roberts went to whack in half, and Mullen's going to kick it. So the plan worked as illustrated by Phil Gould. Make sure they've got it down the other end, and Morris will bring it back outside the 20, and that's where they are.
I see Tim Laffey has moved from the right back to the left. He's not comfortable on the right, so the fact Morris has gone to fullback, Laffey's in his more favoured position.
They needed that because Cassiano's back on and Pritchard's back on. The big boppers have returned.
I'm not in position.
He's going to blow up NSC, listen.
Yeah. Gotta wait till both in position.
Come on, Michael, you're only wasting your own time there. You've got to get on with this. You're down to 12 men in the opposition. You've got to play some football.
And with Laffey in the left centre position, Dean Hallertau is playing on the right and about to take the tap to find Josh Reynolds. An awkward pass, in fact, it goes to Graham.
What an inglorious start. As the ball comes to Cassiano, he's almost over the top of Mullen, but taken by that man again, Scott. As the ball comes back, Pritchard, a little bit of a shimmy, comes inside the 20, up towards the, inside the 30 rather, up towards the 20, and by the time he plays it, he's almost inside that. Ennis again, Finucane, and desperately need to try to get back into the game at 14, 10 or 12. Graham steps, stood there, threw it away. Morris has got to rush back for it. He's almost back to the 20. He circles around the outside of Roberts. He'll turn it back on the inside to Perrott. Perrott is taken in the tackle. And the sum total is they're back from whence they came. On the fourth, Williams goes blindside, almost over the top of them.
Let it go, Robbie!
They play it quickly, fifth tackle. Back and comes, little kick in behind them, but there he is again, that man. Bo Scott on the goal line, came up with a save and plays the ball 2 out from his own line. Gagai takes it forward now.
I really think the Bulldogs would be better served punching away around the middle of the field. It's just side-to-side stuff. You know, the Knights are just picking it off too comfortably.
I think that's Gagai's second hit up this set of 6. Inside the 30.
It's pretty relaxed, the coach, doesn't he? The toes with the arms folded and scratching the chin.
Nothing worries him.
No.
Here's the kick from inside the 40 by Mullen, straight to Morris, on his chest inside the 30. Let's see what he can wind up and do here as Hilda got to him with Darius Boyd and also Neville Costigan. This man will go for Mac. Oh, that's a good tackle by Hilda. Ennis will go for knocking half. He tried and unload it, but he picked up and slammed in the tackle now. And he's been injured in that tackle. And here's Houston coming back. Bo Scott made the tackle, by the way.
There's nothing soft about Bo Scott.
It was slight contact on the ground.
He plays for keeps with everything. There's nothing gentle about him at all. Come here, boy. Round he goes. Oh,
no, please. I hope it's a delayed reaction to the initial contact and not the last bit.
Oh, dear.
Jeremy!
Well, Jeremy Smith just ran as a replacement, ran up to the third marker. He's lost it, Cassiano. Well, nothing's going quite right. for Canterbury at the moment. And look at those Novocastrians. They love it.
Well, they're not out of this, the Dogs, on the scoreboard, but they're out of it mentally. They're not giving any impression that they can change their game to suit what they're playing against, and the Knights are just handling them comfortably right at this moment. Chris Houston will want to get out there and surge for a big 20 minutes to make up for being on the sideline.
Well, that was just a good tackle by Alex McKinnon and a loose carry by Cassiano that saw the ball coughed up, and the 5-man scrum packs. Andrew Johnson on the touchline.
Yeah, with the injury to Ben Barber, Dean Hallertale's gone to right centre. I know it's an area they've been really targeting is Josh Reynolds on that side. I think that's the channel they should be targeting the Knights, in between Josh Reynolds and Hallertale.
There's the inside ball back away. Leilua is put down. They allowed them to have 5 men in that scrum with only 12 men out there. That's not allowed. They should have had another man in there. And can have more backs and forwards from set pieces. 40 metres out. Mullen probing, trying to get on the outside of Hodkinson and put down on the tackle. 35 out. That's the 5th tackle. They'll go the skinny blind. The ball back away. Gagai's going to kick. He's at a well-weighted kick. It's into the in-goal area. They've got to pick it up and try and do something with it. Morris is somehow into the field of play. No, on the line he's forced it, he said.
On the line, Josh,
well, that's nothing short of brilliant. I'll tell you what it's like. It's Jamie Lyon-like, and I can't give it any higher praise. They came down a short blindside there. The Newcastle Knights fans applauding, and so they should. He's got no room to work in here. Comes down a short blindside, weighted left foot kick perfectly, rolls to the in goal. He's first down there. Awade backs him up. The Knights swarm. Bo Scott there again, and they force the line dropout. Great work, Dane Gagai.
Houston's about to come back, I'm told.
He was nearly going to throw that to the referee then.
Yeah, it's just a bit too deep.
He was looking for the bloke in the pink shirt to run onto it. Here comes Houston.
So he's back 13 on 13 again, and when he left it was 12-6. He comes back at 14-6. No harm done. McKinnon. Someone has to spark this Canterbury side. Badiris, Roberts, short ball, Rocco. He's looked dangerous around the legs there. Hallertale, they go the same way again. Darius Boyd dummied, Hallertale's there again. Williams is over the top, and so is Perrott. Denny Badiris acting half. Little kick in behind them, Tyrone Roberts. Morris is equal to it, but he'll be there to be tackled and goal line drop, that 2nd consecutive one.
Well done. That's a good play for a young man growing in stature week by week. And to talk about inspiration for the other team, Ray, it is generally provided by Josh Reynolds through his energy, enthusiasm and execution, and they really need to, I agree with Gus, they need to go back with how they started this game in the opening 5 to 10 minutes, where they just tucked it under the arm.
Short drop out and looking for touch. It didn't work off, and now Uarte looking for number 2 is held by Eastwood, who's back out there. Ennis had a second chop. Badiris, Smith. Can they make an appointment with Melbourne next Saturday night, Newcastle, with another try here? But there's a long way to go. 25 in fact. Badiris. Mullen. Flick pass back on the inside of the man that was in the bin, Houston. He's handled by 3 defenders, but drags them a bit further. Ennis was there. Cassiano was there. Graham was there. Now Roberts throws the dummy, shows and goes, throws it over the top of his head, comes down to McManus. I think he got it down for a try, forward pass. They've called it back for a forward pass very quickly.
Well, that was a bit of an alley-oop, wasn't it? He throws the dummy, he just throws it over his head. Catch that. It's gone forward. But there were danger signs there for the Bulldogs. I was just looking up in Wayne Bennett's coaching box. I mean, we know Wayne doesn't say anything, but I wouldn't imagine he allows people in his box that chatter away. Look, they've all got the same pose. They all sit there very quietly. They're in Wayne's room, and they've all got to be quiet. You wouldn't think you'd let a chatterbox in there, would you?
I'd better get a start. They've lost the ball from the restart here, Gus. From the scrum, James Graham is absolutely incensed with himself. Even crankier than when Willie put the water bottle into his hair.
Oh, I don't know. If I don't finish that one.
Well, they talk about teams having great spirit, and there's plenty of spirit on show here from the Newcastle Knights. But spirit comes from the word inspiration, and that's what these Knights players are doing. They're inspiring each other. Every one of them is inspiring each other with their efforts in both attack and defence, whether it's scrambling back or chasing a kick, a big hit. They're out to impress each other.
Here's the ball to Darius Boyd. Steps back on the inside, and the man was there again. Peter just pointed to him. Bo Scott on our monitor. And the coach spoke glowingly in that pre-match interview with Peter Sterling about the impact he has on the club and on the game. 8 metres out. Oh, Smith went without it, but Houston's there to pick up the dregs and brings it back into centre field. He's dropped down. Ennis was there. Cassiano needs to get up a bit quicker. As the ball comes away to Mullen, delays the pass, then to Smith, and picked up by Hodkinson and Pritchard out wide. Madeira's acting half, gets it back away. Willie's back. He's lost it, Willie. It's going to be picked up by big Tony Williams for Canterbury, who pushes away from the first line Rocco and then put down by Rocco with an assist on the far side. And that came from Leilua. There.
When they get to the other end of the field, the Bulldogs, Tony Williams is the other man who can provide something extra special.
Hodkinson going into Mullen and bouncing away back to Smith. Ennis. Frank Pritchard. Great tackle. Smith around the legs. Houston over the top with Badeiras as always. Inside ball. Morris came back away from James Graham. They were awake to it. Rocco made the tackle. Now Cassiano, the pass on the outside to Halatau. He's taken by Roberts, the halfback. Shocking service to Hopkinson, who's going to go to the air now. Urate's coming across to attack the football and took it magnificently. And away he goes, over the 30. And stepped through one before he's claimed by Eastwood from behind, 35 out from his own line. That's a kick return that you require when you're under a little bit of pressure.
Well, the kick was deliberately put up for Josh Reynolds to chase. He haired after it, but Urato did a great job. What about the centres performances tonight for the Newcastle Knights? Leilua and Gagai. Good run there from Leilua.
There's Willie around Cassiano and Eastwood. Comes to Williams and put down, and Halatau was underneath him. Mullen has the ball from Roberts back on the inside to Houston. He runs at Ennis, he's almost over the top, but James Graham completed the tackle. That's the 5th against Newcastle. They lead 14-6. Still 21 to go. Sloppy stuff and a knock on. So a changeover.
Penalty here against Michael Ennis. Penalty against Michael Ennis.
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear.
Yeah, this ball came off the back of Michael Ennis's backside, I think.
I think he stuck his foot out here.
Was it?
Jared!
Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, he lifted the foot. Look at that. He lifted the foot to get in the way of the pass. Now, why would you do that?
Well, it's what can only be described as a pot plant penalty. It's the penalty of a pot plant. Well, there's no other explanation. It's the type of penalty a pot plant would give away.
What in God's name would you think you were doing? There's cameras everywhere. You can't hide.
Roberts about to turn the penalty into 2 points. That's the 20-metre line he's on. He hits it sweetly, and they do lead by 16-6 the Knights over the Bulldogs in the elimination semi-final. We might have another look at the actions of the captain of Canterbury, who's in centre screen there, just inexplicable. Cameras everywhere, and it lifting the foot. Watch it. Up he goes, and you wondered how the dummy half did it, and then you know how he did it. He got a bit of help. And it was the voice of Gavin Badger you heard say, Ennis did something, Ennis did something.
Bad sign there too. When they kicked off there, the Bulldogs, there was a few blokes in front of the kicker. Could have easily been penalised, and that's what I talk about, their mental state at the moment. They're just not there. Silly things from Ennis. They could have easily conceded a penalty at the kick-off. The Knights have got them rattled.
And McManus away from Cassiano. Darren Lockyer is on the touchline.
Yeah, we were talking about Wayne Bennett before in the coach's box with these men. Right now he'd be thinking, we just don't want to beat ourselves from this position. He'd be getting the message out there to his Jared Mullen in particular, get the ball down the other end, make sure we get through our sets, apply the pressure to the opposition.
And they're targeting the touchline through Jared Mullen's left boot. That's a good kick, slowing the game down and setting a scrum down just inside the 20 at the right end of the field for Newcastle.
And very timely on the back of Darren Lockyer's comments there. That was what was needed. Jared Mullen just to play good field position, get the ball out of play. The clock is on their side. They've got the players out there now, along with Jared Mullen, to guide this home. As we mentioned, Danny Badeiras, he'd come on for the final 25 minutes. Well, he's out there now. Willie Mason, Jeremy Smith after his break, Bo Scott. They've got the leaders who know exactly what to do in this situation.
Heads in.
Willie Mason was just, he was just talking and talking and talking to James Graham there, and James Graham's shaking his head as if to say, does this bloke ever shut up?
Time is off, mate. Rattle. Just rattle. Stay there, Tyre.
There's the badge, Gavin Badger.
Time back on.
Comes to Eastwood from that scrum. So there's still just under 18 to go, so plenty of time.
A massive amount of time, and it can all change on one play, one run, one pass. You know, the Bulldogs are close enough that someone's got to snap them out of this.
Ennis, Graham. This is a good set of 6 from inside their own 20. And 4 tackles. They've got to the 40. Hodgkinson, Pritchard, out wide. Well, that's not good. That's a shocking into the set of 6. Dear.
And that's the hit and hope type mentality they've got at the moment. And I doubt the coach is impressed there. Again, lateral, going sideways, not punching forward. When James Graham pumps in behind them there and got a quick play of the ball, they should have punched again in that area. Keep going forward in that area. But they've got this penchant for just simply spinning the ball sideways towards the sideline, and that time out over it. If the Knights can get home here, Ray, the Knights haven't won as a club. The Newcastle Knights haven't won a finals match since 2006.
Willie, fine, mate.
I think Andrew Johns was playing back then.
Time on.
So it's a big day for the club if they can hold on here to their 10-point lead.
So the scrum has been won, as you would appreciate, by the team feeding it. That's Newcastle. Leilua has played it. And back to Smith. Pritchard's all over him with Cassiano. They go blindside. Darius Boyd. Taken by Laffey. Over the top underneath Hodgkinson. Just inside the Canterbury half. Calling people out of it as Willie Mason goes over the top of Eastwood and still going. Pritchard got him. Good run, Willie. He'll play it 30 metres out for the Newcastle Knights. Badeiras. They're going to kick for the winger now. McManus is getting through, going back forward. He's also Perrott. He's got to circle around and try and come back into the field of play, which is mission impossible. Goal line dropout.
Look at all the Newcastle jerseys in the picture here. They came from everywhere again. Their kick chase has been tremendous. High energy in all the little things in the game. All the nitty-gritty effort areas. The Newcastle Knights have beaten the Bulldogs to the punch everywhere. They're not home yet. Don't celebrate yet, Newcastle fans, but you've got to be very proud of your team up to this point.
Andrew Johnson on the touchline. They take that drop out.
Yeah, the young man catching that ball, Jared Mullen. I get the feeling in the 15 minutes to go, it might be a masterclass off his left boot. He'll control this game as Willie is full of running.
Thank you, Joey, and he's put down 22 metres out, Willie. He's added some impact since returning. So's this man, Badeiras. Back on the inside, that's Houston. And they've done this on the back of him spending 10 in the bin. They led by 6, he came back, they led by 8. Back to Smith, he's almost there, he is, he'll get it down, that'll be a try, that'll win the game and put them into the match against Melbourne. The celebrations happen as the referee points to the spot.
That's just reward. He is a warrior, Jeremy Smith. There's not that much of him, but he plays as hard as any forward in the game. He's been tremendous at the previous clubs before coming to Newcastle, and he's brought plenty up to the Hunter Valley. And look at this, brushing through defenders to score under the posts.
There's the man that scored it, that most likely puts them into the next round of the playoffs at 20 points to 6.
That try there and the way he scored it, that puts an exclamation point, and Bulldogs fans are starting to walk out the gate, which isn't a great sign, but that run and that try totally exemplifies the afternoon that we've seen. The Knights have just been too hard for them. They've just wanted it more. There was nothing scientific about that other than just a hard, straight run at some tired defenders. He just wanted it more than they did. And that's been the Knights this afternoon.
And Tyrone Roberts, as he converts, it was interesting to play the ball leading up to that as Tyrone extends it. They were actually setting up for something and got Jeremy Smith to go the other side to hit one up. Darren Lockyer sideline.
You know, as you see here in the try, Jeremy Smith just through lazy defence there with the Bulldogs. It just took its toll on the back of repeat sets. Well constructed on the night as we see another error from the Bulldogs off the kickoff.
Desperate times, desperate measures.
Yeah, well, they nearly conceded a penalty from the previous kickoff, and you know it's starting to manifest itself now that the Bulldogs mentally lost touch with this game.
Come out, Baz. Come out.
Oh, probably 20 minutes ago, I'd say.
I was a bit worried about the hit out against Parramatta last week that we did on Sunday afternoon. I thought maybe 54-6 or whatever it was, you know, wasn't the sort of preparation we needed coming into a tough game, but obviously it was.
Well, the thing about it was he kept them going. They played right for the 80 minutes. They can't account for the poorness of their opposition, but they didn't just flop around and win, you know, 30-20 or something. They did give it to them.
Yeah, I was the other way, Ray. I thought for a lot of other teams, you know, a comfortable victory like that might not. But scoring a lot of points, I think, would have really helped Newcastle. We've got a little bit of a set to the outside backs here. Play continues on close at the post. Danny Medeiros on to Jeremy Smith, looking at his second under the post, and Millie gets it.
He's astride the post almost. Medeiros is there. They probably score off this one. As it comes to Howson, can he get it down? Turtled. I'm not quite sure.
I think he dropped it.
You have a try?
Just check the grounding.
Fourth tackle, we have a try. Just check the grounding.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. Chris Houston certainly gets well over the line. And I'm just not quite sure whether he's maintained control of the football as it got down to the line.
Oh, no. I can't give that.
No, I couldn't go with the referee on that one.
He didn't look confident either. He had that sort of look in his eyes that, no, I've spilled this. They're in there. It's out of his grip. It's out of his grip. He's nowhere near it.
They'll have to reverse the decision of the referee on this one, surely.
Yeah, that's Tony Williams' arm coming around there with the strapping on it. And he hasn't got control of that.
They've got a decision. I think you'll find they're having one more look, but I think they've made their mind up, and I'm almost certain it's no try.
He went very close to getting it down. He rolled his arm over, but he had no grip on the ball.
No try it is. No try. Correct decision.
Yeah, in reviewing that decision, the Newcastle players pulled the ball back towards himself and has lost possession. So we've gone with no try and overturned the decision.
That's Steve Chitty. Thank you, Steve. Well done. And they're up inside the 10, and the arms all went up from Canterbury, but it doesn't help. So the score remains 22-6. There's still 11:50 to go, and stranger things have happened. But most unlikely goes to Laffey. And that's great defence by Gagai, almost putting him into touch. Now, he's not in touch. I haven't seen that ruling for a long, long time. When you're rising to your feet to play the ball, you are not in touch when you touch the touchline. And that's a correct decision by the touch judge and the referees. Here's the ball back away.
The crowd don't know that one, Ray. They reacted. They wanted it pulled up. It was spot on.
Yeah, here's the ball. I can't think of how long since I've seen it happen. Infrequently, but it does happen. Here's Eastwood. Ennis. Hodkinson. Laffey quickly away. Brown down the touchline. Last tackle. Kicks. It's going to bounce up for Boyd, although getting through quickly is Reynolds to make the tackle as he takes the ball, Darius Boyd, on the bounce, half a metre out from his own line.
Gagai taking it forward again. He's had a lot of carries.
So with a moon boot on, Ben Barber's return. Well, let's see what the Knights can do here in the last 10 minutes and 40 seconds to build a platform for next week. As Rocco's put down on the tackle, and let's see if some of the Bulldog spirit can be lifted to post some points to make the score a little more respectable.
Well, assuming a Newcastle win here, they will travel to Melbourne to play the Knights. They've played the Knights twice this year. Melbourne have played the Knights twice this year for 2 wins. Only narrow wins, but 2 wins nonetheless. And earlier this year, there was only 2 points between the two teams, Newcastle and the Storm. So Wayne Bennett will travel south with some degree of confidence that he can win again.
So Uate's been penalised here, Phil. Let's go downstairs. Andrew Johnson's had a yarn to Ben Barber. What's doing, Joey?
Yeah, it's a syndesmosis injury. It's the same injury he's carried most of the year. That's a high ankle sprain. It's something to do with the ligament that sits between the 2 bones, just above the ankle there. So it's his season gone, Ben Barber. Bad news.
Thanks, Joey. Well done, Andrew. Anyway, here they come now. They got a penalty out for a kick downfield. Mitch Brown was tackled by Uate. A leg grab, and they're back on the attack from 35 out. Reynolds delays the pass. Now, Morris had Williams, but he'd overrun the ball when Morris juggled it. 30 metres out from the line. Rocco made another tackle. He's had a hell of a game as well. Back on the inside they come. That'll be Halatau. 26 metres out. Ennis out wide. Graham. Pritchard goes. Dummies. Laffey with it now. Comes back on the inside. Great defence. Got the ball back to Hodgkinson. He was hurdling fallen players. Comes back into the centre field now. Ennis with it. Got them going backwards. Turned it back on the inside. Back again they come. Reynolds turns it back away. East with a beautiful step and another one. He'll be felled a metre short of the goal line. Great tackle. Tyrone Roberts. From acting half they go. They're in the in-goal area. I think it's Ennis, but he's held up. He's pushed back into the field of play. It is Michael Ennis. There's the number 9. Tolman out the back now. The pass comes wide, but steps, kicks over the top. It's coming down for Uate. Palm back away. Back it comes to Pritchard. 6 to go it is. As the ball came to Morrison, he realises he got 6 to go. 12 metres out. Can they score? 8.5 to go. The Knights lead by 22-6. The ball comes to Graham. Flat pass away to Tolman. Tolman, he's tried to throw it away, and he surrendered possession. Play on, and the ball comes to Rocco, and Newcastle save another situation.
Yep, just trying too much there, Aidan Tolman. They had another full set up their sleeve, but again, just frustration. Newcastle defence has been superb tonight. Again, we point out only 1 try against them, and that was from a kick.
Now there's Leilua, who's been very, very good, as Peter pointed out, both the centres. Joseph Leilua and Gagai on this side have been fantastic. McKinnon comes back on for Smith. And Costigan's on. Here's the ball back away to Gagai. He comes at the defence. They've circled him round and towards touch, and they've thrown him into touch. And it's a penalty. The tackle had been completed, according to Ashley Klein.
Ball going on, touches the ground, you can't drag it.
Yeah, you can feel another try coming on here. They've got the hands on the hips and hands on the knees. They're hunched over, the Bulldogs. They're, I think, now resigned to the fact that their year is over, and the Newcastle Knights still look hungry.
Super footwork there from Dane Gagai to get through and away. As Mullen nearly gets the cameraman.
Back here, boys.
You'd think the 4th try isn't far away, though, where they're building here. McKinnon. They have a 22-6 lead inside the final 7. McKinnon held, plays it. Badiris, back away Costigan. He's put down, 5 out from the goal line. East with the tackler. Badiris again. Tyrone Roberts, beautiful step and away, can't get there. Great tackle from behind, brought him down. He gets up slowly. Badiris is there. Ball goes away, knock on here by Costigan. They get it quickly, Canterbury, on their own goal line. That's Morris with it now at the defence. Comes at them and put down on the tackle. Went to play it, that'll be a penalty.
Stay there,
Harold Mullen had a leg pull.
Well, the Bulldogs were last year's grand finalists, and they're going to be the second team bundled out of this year's semi-final series. Melbourne Storm were last year's premiers, and they were beaten on Friday night. So last year's grand finalists both beaten in the first weekend of the semi-finals in this season.
That's Laffey playing it after that penalty. Mitch Brown across field, looking for someone, finds Morris out wide. He got it away to Reynolds. Josh Reynolds takes them on. Then the ball back to Halatau. After the loss of Barber filling in at right centre with Josh Morris back at fullback. Right on halfway, that's it you can see. Here's Williams at the defence. Still going, ripping clear of tackles and put down inside the 40. Ennis. Graham. Hodkinson dummies. That ball was played out by Jared Mullen. It'll be 6 to go. It's picked up by Eastwood. Referee has said 0 tackle, and he's still going. He's 10 out. Well, you'd think their second try wouldn't be far away here. Surely the Bulldogs. They're down by 22-6. Ennis. The ball to Graham. He's got Tolman, but he got the pass back away. They kick on a 0 tackle. Up they go, and the ball's been palmed dead, I think, by McManus. Goal line dropout.
Yeah. Well, did they know it was 0 tackle?
No.
Because the kick, it wasn't particularly on. They had wide men, the Newcastle players.
What's that time, boys?
Just inexplicable.
They've got a result, but it wasn't the result.
Well, there's 4 3/4 minutes to go. The game's from their grasp, but it was 0 tackle when he was tackled Eastwood, so they hadn't completed their first tackle.
Yeah, it was good work there from James McManus. He learnt the lesson from earlier in the game. He wasn't going to go up and try and catch it. He knew that Perrott got over the top of him early on, so he just went up and punched it dead. So that's a smart footballer. He's not going to be beaten the same way twice.
Now, for those viewers who don't watch a lot of rugby league, the man we just had on centre screen, his side is in front.
Here's the ball 30 metres out with Canterbury, who are behind. And that's Aidan Tolman. By 22-6 to Newcastle, who will play Melbourne and ANZ Stadium, Melbourne next Saturday evening. You'll see it here. The ball back away, Morris. Then on the outside, Reynolds. Nice pass back away to Hallertau. Beat 1 and 2. Comes to Darius Boyd, who completes the tackle a metre out from the goal line, northern end. Ennis again. Eastwood, first receiver. Puts on the footwork, but can't get through the defence. As Badiris is underneath. Over the top, Houston. Ennis again. Flat pass. They turn it out the back. Surely they must score. Hodkinson is back on the inside, and he's taken in the tackle again by Jared Mullen. McKinnon there as well. Ennis again. Reynolds chased across field. He threw it at the back as he fell. Eastwood's rushing back for it. So's Brown. Eastwood picked it up. He's got Brown behind him. He'll give it back to him. Brown's back at the 30. He kicks and hopes. Come up the side of the boot. Perrott's gone high. He basketballs it back to Hallertau. He sent it back to Tony Williams. They might be back at halfway shortly. Go the other way. They're 32 metres out. The basketball over the top. They get it back around the corner. And it's been knocked on by Hodgkinson. Picked up by Newcastle's Costigan, who gave it away to Gagai. Gagai stepped Williams. He's over halfway. He comes to the 40. He got the ball around the corner. Down the touchline. Lake Lua in a chase with Morris. He threw it forward. Back they come for the knock-on.
20-minute restart.
Well, where did the Bulldogs play that ball before the last play? I think they were about a yard out from the line, and they turned it over about 40 metres out from the line. So the Knights probably would have been better to just let the Bulldogs keep having the ball. There it is, a yard out from the line. They started, and from there they just kept going backwards, and they turned it over 38 metres out from the line. That is the most bizarre play I have ever seen.
Anyway, from that they knocked it on in goal, so they're going to try and kick it and find touch through Hodkinson, and it's out the full, so he's lucky that they weren't ready. And the rule is you can restart by any method of kick, and if you find touch, you get the scrum feed downfield. But they take the tap, having averted a tragedy by kicking it out the full in the first instance because the referee wasn't ready. Perrott's going to come on the inside now. Inside the final 3. How far goes at them? Well accommodated by Mullen and McKinnon.
What we've seen here today for the Newcastle Knights, they will trouble Melbourne. They will trouble Melbourne down there next week. That's no foregone conclusion at all. We know Melbourne can lift. They've got all those great players and they're very adept at final football. But given what we saw Friday night and given what we've seen here today, Newcastle have cause to be optimistic.
There's an animated Wayne Bennett, Peter. You've been waiting all day. He touched the bench lightly twice. He went tap, tap.
Well, he knows that there's a long way to go, but he'd be delighted with what he's seen here this afternoon.
Heads in.
Firstly, they've conceded 1 try from the kick. The other thing is, don't forget, they had a man in the sin bin for 10 minutes. So they've played for just the 70 with the full complement. Smiles all around from 2 of their real stars in Jeremy Smith. In fact, 3. Willie Mason's been great as well. Both got outstanding. There hasn't been a bad player out there.
Where's the second rower?
But the coach, yeah, he'll be delighted with what he's seen.
And the prematurely grey Chris Houston packing into the front row. Darius Boyd runs at Hodkinson, taking the tackle. Michael Ennis came over the top. That guy, Costigan. Buderus. Long goes back out with those 3 players Peter mentioned getting a breather. McKinnon. 15 out now. Buderus at acting half. 22-6 to Newcastle. They've got it 1 inside the final 1. We're about to go. Mullen. He comes at the defence and taken by Eastwood and Tolman. 9 out. 5th tackle. Buderus goes himself, then pops the ball back away. It's on the ground. Buderus takes on the toe. It's in goal. He gets back there, but Morris palms it dead. It's a goal line dropout for the last play of the match.
And his career extended another week at least, Danny Buderus. Lovely little bit of improvisation there, and the crowd that have made their way down from Newcastle stand as one.
They are passionate. They've come down what used to be the F3 is now the M1 to come to Sydney and cheer their team on. I don't know that many of them will be able to make the trip to Melbourne next Saturday night. There's the dropout. Uate's fallen base over Apex, but he's got enough pace to rush back and pick it up over halfway. 20 seconds to go. Uate's there. Inside the final 10. And a great win by Newcastle over the Bulldogs, 22 points to 6. And that'll be the last play of the match because they've got the appointment next Saturday night in Melbourne to continue their search for the premiership in 2013. There he is, VB, hard-earned man of the match, deservedly so as well. Beau Scott went into it with an injury and was absolutely outstanding. And shaking hands with the bench, the man of the match for VB. Just fantastic. There they are, the Novocastrians, who came down the freeway to support their team, and they lived to fight another day.
Well, you look for words to try and explain what's happened here this afternoon, and quite simply, Newcastle were too good. There's no other way to put it. In all the little effort areas, they just beat the Bulldogs to the punch all afternoon, and they will look back on that 8-minute period where they defended their line, where the Bulldogs threw everything in their repertoire at them, and Newcastle turned them away, then went down the other end, and Darius Boyd scored the try. Andrew Johns.
Yeah, with Danny Buderus, Bedsy, dream's still alive.
It's alive, Nug. Yeah, so, mate, we stand for something now, which is good. As you saw our defence, I think 5-6 repeat sets in that first half and repelled them, and our line speed was great all that second half. So, credit to the boys. Wayne's got his cherry right for the game and for the series, so we're looking forward to Melbourne.
Yeah, big wins are set up by defence. Did you get that feeling when you defended your line in that first half that the win was coming? Yeah,
there was a call that I think Mully said it. We defend this set, we win the game. So that was about, obviously, only 25 minutes into the game. So, and we backed it up. So we're not about making promises here. We're about commitment, and that's what it's about in this team at the moment.
Well, you go to Melbourne Saturday night, playing the Storm down there. They hold any fears for you?
I don't think you can fear any team at this time of year. I think you've got to be as brave as anyone in the competition, otherwise you're going to run out of the park. So it's another tough task going down there, but we're right up for the challenge.
A lot of fans in Newcastle watching, Beds. Message for the fans in Newcastle?
Yeah, that's right. It's been a bit of a lean 12 years. We've spoken about that. So thanks to everyone, the true supporters out there. You've stuck by us thick and thin.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate.
Well done, Danny. Thank you, Joey. You saw the 2 games coming up, and you'll see them here Friday night, 7:30, Manly Cronulla from ANZ Stadium, and then a 7 o'clock kickoff for that game that comes up on Saturday, and that is between Melbourne and Newcastle, and that's in Melbourne at Amy Park. There it is again, Sea Eagles and Sharks, live from 7:30, ANZ Stadium on Friday night, and a feast of rugby league continues on Saturday night from 7 p.m. The Storm and Newcastle having beaten the Canterbury Bankstown side by 22 points to 6 here. Coming up next, we have 9 news after some great rugby league.